Almost 3,000 items sold in less than a year. Here's a list of lessons learned throughout my journey in Whatnot. And if this is the first time in my channel, welcome. My name is Laura. I am a part-time reseller. I use various platforms, but for the sake of this video, I'm focusing on the platform Whatnot. Now let's start with lesson number 1. The first lesson I learned is that you do need to find what category you're going to sell. I started with clothing simply because I've always loved sourcing affordable clothing, and I figured I could start there. I did buy my first palette for women's clothing, and while I did good, it wasn't selling as quick as I wanted it to, so I started selling kids clothing. I still sell kids clothing. I love it. I also tried women's shoes. And while I do love buying women's palette shoes, there's a few things to consider about that one. And it goes into some of the other lessons learned. But shoes are bulky. They take up a lot of space, so they're hard to store. And then it's also kind of funky to ship. You have to have a lot of boxes, items to fit all the shoes. So keep that in mind. Other people focus on items that are not clothing. So don't go into Whatnot thinking that the only thing you can sell is clothing. There's everything under the sun. Log in, check out other sellers. It will give you an idea of like what's available, but don't think clothing is the only thing you can sell. For me, I do focus on clothing. Now, lesson number 2. Another thing to consider is how you're going to continuously source for new inventory. Before starting Whatnot, I was doing other platforms, and I'm still doing like Poshmark, and inventory there moves a little slower. While I can sell maybe 5 items a day on Poshmark, I can sell about 100 items in Whatnot. And I think once I realized that, it kind of shocked me a little bit. And just learning like, how do I bring in more inventory? I buy pallets, so I source them through auction sites, and sometimes getting a pallet, like finding a pallet that you like and then bidding on it and hopefully getting it. And then the whole shipping process, it can take a couple days, sometimes weeks. And if you're planning on doing shows on a regular basis, having to wait for that new pallet to arrive can push back some of those scheduled shows, or you're just gonna have to wait. But like I said, that's a good thing to consider ahead of time, that once you are up and running, you might have to replace your inventory quicker than you expect. Now, sourcing more items led to lesson number 3. The more items you source, the more items you have at your house. So keep that in mind and plan ahead. I definitely did not plan ahead. Thankfully, we have a garage, so we can store all of our stuff there, and we have a lot of extra room around the house where we can put stuff. But keep that in mind if you don't have a garage, or if you don't have a lot of space to store stuff. If you're just starting out, that is a reality. And maybe it's not for everyone, but if you don't have any followers and you're just starting a Whatnot and you have 1,000 items, those 1,000 items have to go somewhere. So have a plan for that and don't wait till the end. And obviously none of us want to be a storage unit, but it's just the reality that it could happen. And how do we not become a storage unit? We don't become that by actually increasing our followers. We increase them by doing a lot of shows. Don't do what I did, and because I started with 1 show a week, and that did nothing for me in regards to building my following. Once I started to add more shows and make sure that I'm out there so people can see me, because if you're not live, there's no way for people to see you. Maybe unless you have a huge following on social media, maybe you can direct them to your Whatnot show. That was not the case for me. So I learned that the hard way. It takes a lot of effort and energy to build your following. And I'll probably do another video regarding things that you can do to actually increase your followers, but stay posted for that one. You are also probably going to experience rejection. And for me, that's been the hardest lesson so far, is that I have to be okay with being rejected. And what I mean by being rejected is that people may not like the items that you're selling, and that's okay. People may not like the starting bids of your items, and that's okay. It really is hard, but you will get there. You will build a community that gets to know you, that likes what you have to offer, that likes your personality, that enjoys your shows. So just embrace the rejection at first, and it'll probably still keep happening, but just embrace it. It's fine, it's part of the process. And lesson number 6, talking about embracing the process. Be ready to put in work and put in hours. A lot of people always talk about reselling. They're like, oh, it's so easy, just grab an item and resell it. Well, if you're doing shows through Whatnot, there's a lot that goes into it, right? You have to have inventory. You can't just show up and have 5 items and call it a day. Maybe you could, but that's really not really how it works. Plan ahead. You have to have your items. You have to schedule your show. You have to actually do the show, which can take hours. My shows vary between like 1 hour to maybe 4 hours. It really just depends. And then once you're done with the show, you have to organize all the items sold, package them, ship them. Like that takes time. So plan that ahead. Don't think that this is an easy peasy, Chuck E. Cheesy type of work. It's still work. And then lastly, success doesn't happen overnight. While it might for some people, for a lot of us, it will not happen overnight. It takes time. Be patient. I know you will get discouraged. I got discouraged, and I still do sometimes. I get discouraged, but it's okay. It's okay to fail. Just get up, do it again. Schedule another show. If you feel like your previous show didn't do good, do another one. Talk to other people. Watch some videos. Like, it is a slow progress, but you will get there. You will build the followers, you will get those sales. Just keep working on it. And I hope some of those lessons learned that I just shared help you. And I am pretty sure I will keep learning as I keep growing, and as I keep doing live shows. I will find other things that are pain points, and I will have to figure out how to fix them or improve them. But I'm optimistic, and I'll keep you posted. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching and don't forget to subscribe.